So let's say you run a Fortune 500 company, and you want to get an edge on a pesky competitor that's been on your tail. A lot of money is on the line, you, all your investors, partners, debtors have so much to lose. So if you could get your hands on your competitor's proprietary technology, you could turn the tide on this war of profits. Maybe instead of getting your hands on their technology secrets, maybe you could use some photos of your competitor's CEO in a compromised position for leverage. Maybe some internal documents could help. Hell, even finding out what direction they plan on taking the company in the next few months could be worth its weight in gold to you. Let's say you're a stock trader, an investor. This same internal information could be of great use to you. If you could find out that a company is about to announce some new game-changing products, you could easily make a quick buck with some insider trading. The opposite is also true. Every company has weaknesses, and if you can discover those weak points before they're made public, short the stock and you're rolling in some instant cash.
Short everything that guy has touched.
But let's not stop there. Let's say instead of an investor or a corporation, you're a nation. A nation that has very big ambitions, but lacks the technological prowess, the innovation of a nation like the US. You could also use the same information to give a leg up to your own companies without having to do any of the pesky research and development yourself. The point is, there's a lot of demand for insider secrets from corporations from all sides of the aisle. A lot of demand with some very deep pockets. Enter corporate espionage, the very profitable field of business intelligence that emerged out of this dire need for business intel. An industry where you can hire a team of ex-CIA officers to work on your behalf. An industry where you can hire firms like the Trident Group, a business intelligence firm made up of ex-Soviet spies right down the road from the CIA headquarters. And huge corporations like Disney will get them on their payroll.
Here, there's a firm called Trident Group in Northern Virginia. All of those guys are ex-Soviet military intelligence and KGB, and they're now working for some of America's biggest companies. They work for Disney, prominent American law firms, doing intelligence.
So how does this murky business work? How do you go about getting this business intel? And most importantly, how ethical is it? How can you profit from it? Let's find out.
Companies today have access to and are using the same kinds of spy technology and technique, even some of the same people that only governments used a decade or so ago.
The nature of war has never changed and never will change. The nature of war is death. To kill the enemy before he kills you. The rest is details.
Just like how war never changes, the strategies of war work just as well on the battlefield as they do on the business front. The same is true with spying. It's all about getting information, intelligence from other humans. Those humans may be soldiers, government officials, or they could be corporate executives or that intern in the mailroom. When the Soviet Union went under in the 90s, a bunch of Soviet spies were left without a job. Just like how some ex-soldiers become private military contractors, basically mercenaries after their service to get that bread, so did these ex-Soviet spies. Spies that once put their life on the line to fight against capitalism were now working for those same capitalist companies that they were trying to take down.
It couldn't be any more ironic. And what you find is that people who were committed communists for the early part of their careers, when the Soviet Union went bust, they needed work and they needed something to do. And they had these skills, so that now they're selling those skills in the global economy.
But it's not just the Soviet spies. The promise of doubling or tripling your salary for the exact same type of work is kinda hard to resist. So there are intelligence officers from across the board that end up becoming private intelligence contractors. From CIA veterans to the FBI to Secret Service to MI5 and MI6. Take the CIA for example. Because the espionage industry is what it is, these numbers are kinda hard to find. So based on an insider's estimates, relatively junior CIA officers making anywhere from $43,000 to $57,000 per year can pretty much triple their income from $120,000 to $150,000 just by going private. And they can even get it into the $200,000 range as they get more corporate experience. And this is based on 2008 numbers. So people will get trained through government agencies, quit, and then sell those skills in the private sector. It's so bad that some insiders say that this intelligence brain drain is hurting US national security. Corporate espionage is expensive. It requires a lot of manpower and expertise that not many people have, with top firms charging anywhere from $1,600 to over $2,000 per day per man, plus all their expenses, and others charging a retainer anywhere from $400,000 to over $800,000 per year. On top of that, espionage doesn't always play out. You can spy on a businessman for days just to catch him watching golf on TV. So how far people are willing to go to spy on their business enemies depends on how much money is involved. And it's recommended that you only turn to corporate espionage if that is the only way left to get the information you need. If paying a few $100,000 to a private intelligence firm could save you or make you millions or even billions of dollars, then it might start looking like a no-brainer. One expert says in every transaction involving more than $1 billion, at least one of the parties involved are using surveillance operators. And that's why the big customers are usually big investment firms, hedge funds, lawyers involved in high-stakes litigation, corporate raiders looking to buy or take over companies, companies involved in innovative fields that require a lot of R&D like tech, and so on, with Silicon Valley being one of the main epicenters for companies getting spied on.
Above all, it's innovative and export-oriented sectors that industrial spies have their sights on. Engineering, the auto industry, electronics companies and software manufacturers, and increasingly, banks.
Because clients that resort to corporate espionage are so desperate, and the skills required for this job are so rare, clients sometimes have to get on waiting lists for these services or pay extra for a foreign team to be flown out. At the highest level, there are big, organized corporate-style spying firms. They have their own offices worldwide and have a lot of manpower. And this includes companies like Diligence, a globe-spanning firm that's worked with some of the richest people in the world, and has connections to the Rothschild family. Below these behemoths are a ton of smaller operators and one-man teams. Therefore, smaller jobs that can be hired on a case-by-case basis, and are also usually made up of former intelligence officers. This also includes the more traditional private investigators. The major espionage firms claim that they don't do illegal things. One reason is that unless the intel they get is used for blackmail or something, intel obtained illegally isn't admissible in court. But, depending on the laws of the country they're operating in, almost anything goes. We'll bug a house, bug cars, put locator devices on vehicles, conduct electronic intercepts of emails, whatever it takes. And it goes even further. The ex-Soviet bloc spies of Eastern Europe are known to be a little more lenient with their espionage measures.
But they were complaining about the Eastern European spies who go even farther. So every layer of the onion you unpeel, you find there's another layer under there.
And this is just from the firms that are willing to speak out. When millions or billions are on the line, there's probably much more shady stuff that hasn't been in the news. As one insider told journalist Iman Javers, this industry is just one scandal away from a government crackdown. So now that we have an understanding of how this industry works, let's look at some of the tactics we can use to subvert that pesky competition. For every corporate espionage assignment, you'll get a target to go after. This can be just plain information about something, documents, photographs, blackmail material, etc. And sometimes you'll even get a bonus if you accomplish the mission. So let's say the target is to find out what this giant conglomerate plans on doing with this future product. Well, moles or employees inside the company are typically considered the best sources, so you decide to try to turn an employee into giving you the intel. Now, not everyone will be willing or stupid enough to betray their company, so the first step is to create a psychological profile of your ideal mole. Maybe one profile is a mid-20s male that parties, is reckless and irresponsible, needs cash, but is patriotic. Maybe another ideal profile is a woman who's overweight, insecure, salty, materialistic, no boyfriend, but has a strong relationship with her mom. Great, now that we have our ideal profiles, it's time to pick an employee of the company that best fits one of these profiles. Once you do pick the closest employee you can find, it's simply a matter of finding out what their deep-rooted motivations are and creating situations where we can use those motivations against them to get them to open up, to get them to reveal the information we desire. For the irresponsible male that's patriotic, maybe you can pose as an active CIA officer that's giving them an opportunity to help out their country against a national security threat, along with a monetary award. For the overweight, insecure woman, maybe you can seduce her by offering her everything the world has denied her, maybe by becoming the man that she's always wanted but couldn't get. And after you get the intel you're after, you slink out into the night never to talk to her again. Another twist on this method is that if you seduce them but they're still giving you resistance on the juicy stuff you're really after, you can try to persuade them to reveal more inconsequential, less important details that are easier to squeeze out, but are still illegal to share nonetheless. Boom! You compromise them committing a crime, you have some leverage now, and now all you have to do is blackmail them into revealing the intel you're really after. Today, a lot of corporate espionage takes place on the cyber stage. One of the prime targets are computers. For desktops in an office, it's as easy as posing as a cleaner, repairman, janitor to gain access to the computers. And from there, you can either make copies of whatever you need, or install spyware onto the computer. or it can be as simple as leaving a USB stick loaded with spyware lying on the floor until someone puts it into a computer to see what's on it. For laptops, they're most vulnerable when business people are traveling. You can steal them from baggage carousels, in taxis, shuttles, trains, or you can do what's called a bag op, where you use hotel staff to gain access to their room and their laptop. Another popular service is when big corporations plan on hiring someone for a lot of money, or they're hiring someone who's going to be the public face for a company. Clients want to know if they have any major skeletons in their closets that will cost them millions down the line, either in their salary or in public relations damage control. Spies will tail these candidates, use long-range microphones, photograph them, almost whatever it takes to see what kind of dirt they're hiding. In one case, a spy tailed a potential hire to a golf game, the spy called the employer about it, and the employer called the potential hire to ask what he's up to. And the candidate gave a little white lie to not look like he's slacking off. That executive never got the job. Business Intelligence Advisors Incorporated, or BIA, is a firm that's filled with former CIA interrogators that have been trained to basically be human lie detectors. And one service they offer is that they'll assign one of their operators to you, and that interrogator will pose as your friend or colleague as you attend startup pitches or investor meetings. If he picks up that the company you're looking to invest to is lying or not telling the whole truth on the company's finances or what have you, he'll signal you during the meeting so you can hone in on what they're being dishonest about. These same interrogators also listen in on earnings calls for public companies to do the same thing, to help you determine if you want to buy, sell, or short the stock. And there are a ton of other tactics corporate spies can use. Basically, anything government spies have used in the past can be applied to the business world if the money justifies it. Dumpster diving, breaking into a building using satellite imagery, counter surveillance, preventing executives from being tailed, all the way to cyber attacks and hacking. The only limit is your imagination, and how many laws you want to break. If there's a king in this corporate espionage game, in this economic espionage game, it's without a doubt China, who take this game to a whole new level. If you watch this channel, you know that China's long-term goal is to surpass the US as the world's greatest superpower, but not through traditional warfare. No, but through a much more subtle economic form of warfare that flies right under the radar. Part of the strategy for world domination is for China to become the market leader in vital industries like tech, aerospace, AI, energy, medicine, biotech, and so forth. And to become the market leader in any of these fields, you need to develop cutting-edge technology. Cutting-edge technology that we already know is a pain in the butt to develop. So, why not just steal it?
To achieve its goals and surpass America, China recognizes it needs to make leaps in cutting-edge technologies. But the sad fact is that instead of engaging in the hard slog of innovation, China often steals American intellectual property and then uses it to compete against the very American companies it victimized.
Which is why China has been involved in corporate espionage scandals over and over and over and over again.
And over the past decade, we've seen economic espionage cases with a link to China increase by approximately 1,300%, where the FBI is opening a new China-related counterintelligence case about every 10 hours.
To make their technology transfer scheme even more robust, in 2017 they passed the National Intelligence Law. One provision in the law gives the Chinese government the right to turn any of its citizens into spies. Meaning if you work for a foreign company, the government can ask you to spy on your employers. And if you don't, your child may or may not get into a good school. And if these foreign companies catch on and try to sue in China, their Chinese lawyers are required to take a loyalty oath to the Chinese Communist Party first, before their clients. Oh well, does the US and other countries spy on foreign businesses? Yes, but there's no denying that China is the undisputed master at this. Now, if spying on other companies sounds like too much effort to you, there's a much simpler, safer way to go about making money: getting a remote job. Think about it, remote jobs are a lot less fragile in times like these. Jobs that can be done remotely are usually the ones that are going to be in demand for a very long time. Coding, digital marketing, data science. You get most of the perks people dream about when they imagine starting their own business. Working from home on your own time, having the freedom to travel while you work, without all the downsides like super volatile income. And my personal favorite, you can use your remote job as a jumping off point since they're so flexible. You can use that extra time to start a side business if that's something you really want to do. You can travel the world as a digital nomad while having stable income, or it can be as simple as spending more time with the people you care about. This is the path I took, and it's what I believe to be the most realistic path to this make money online thing. I went from my minimum wage job to my first remote job as a web developer, then to my second one at $40 per hour when I was 19. And this remote job gave me the time and money to do what I'm doing right now. So if this is something you're interested in, I put together a course where I break down everything you need to land a remote job from zero. What kind of remote job you should go after, how to best learn it, resumes, applying, interviews, all of it. Like Florian, who landed a remote marketing assistant position at $13 per hour while he was still in college, with the potential for upwards of $25 an hour.
And yeah, $13 an hour, remote job, perfect for my situation. I'm in college, so got it.
Or Alex, who landed a $25 remote job in 19 days while living in South Africa, where $25 is kind of like, quote,
for me, yeah, it would be the same as $75 an hour for the average American.
Is it guaranteed that you're gonna land a job with this course? No. It's still gonna be a grind like everything else, but what you do get is a very solid foundation that I wish I would've had. So sign up today with the link below for a very reasonable price while also supporting videos like this at the same time, because apparently this video was also too controversial for a sponsor. Click the link in the video description to join now. You guys asked for this video, and although it did take a while, you guys have received. So rest assured, I do listen to your guys' comments, so keep the recommendations coming down below and all the hate comments and all that other stuff too. But yeah, if you are new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and join the email notification list thing with the buttons and links below, because we make video essays just like this one every single week on the most provocative and thought-provoking stuff in the world of business, and you should join because it's free. If you guys want behind the scenes stuff, day in the life kind of stuff, memes, lesser known quotes that I come across in my own reading and studying, you can follow me on Instagram at jaketrend.io. But that is gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. Stay dangerous out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.